Well, good evening, Speed Gaming 3, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer Open League playoffs. We're in the late stages of the conference semifinals, and what that means, of course, is the fact that our teams are looking for that spot, that invite into next year's Invitational League. Tonight, we've got Tabby Cat of Farm Friends against Norse Kamadi of the Cabookey Hundo Activist Department, or Chad, and lo and behold, we have Swordless tonight. I'm Radical Sniper 99, joined by Kaysden with Windfox on the tracking. Hello, Kaysden.
Hey Jesse, how's it going?
Oh, just amazing. You know, who doesn't love Swordless?
Short list probably.
Exactly.
Or long list, I don't know.
So yeah, we're going to be looking for hammers and everything else to make life better, or to at least give us some kind of offense. There will not be swords. This is going to be the same as our League Swordless mode during the regular season. So the bow is a combination bow silvers. But everything else is pretty much the same. No changed item pool, any of those kinds of things. Just no swords.
And I don't know if you mentioned this is a game 4, so for Cabookey Hundo, this is a win or go home.
Yeah, and on the other side, that does mean Farm Friends is in a win and go on to the conference finals, but also win and you're in Invitational next season.
Yeah, so there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, and definitely two teams who've gotten to this rough area before, who are kind of saying, you know, we want our chance. Cabookey Hundo has a couple of players who've been this far into the playoffs before with CJ and Garrison, while Farm Friends is very similar in that regard. Tabby, Scruff, and Windfox have been in the playoffs multiple years trying to get their way into Invitational. So, you know, both teams, even Maddie here as one of the newer group members of the groups, was on a playoff team last year as well. So definitely two teams who see this as an opportunity and really, you know, deserving of that spot. And I believe I see Chad talking about flippers on the Lumberjack. Yeah, those are flippers. And we've got a red crystal desert with regular crystals at Eastern and Hera today. Definitely a bit of a surprising route from Tabby here. Unfortunately, not having bombs early, you know, trying to work through it. Maddie getting a few off the guards. But there is a second bomb for Tabby, so, and there's a third, so looks like our runners will converge in Kakariko. We have nothing at the race game, so as well as nothing in the library, so let us see what Kakariko can grant us today. Hey, there's our sword. Oh, wait. Yeah, so Kaysden, what are you looking for when it comes to Swordless? You know, obviously, you know, you want that hammer, you want a weapon, you want the bow silvers, but what are you looking for extra? I seem to have lost my co-com.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. My headset must have glitched out. But yeah, no, I'm mostly just looking for a weapon with as unlimited ammo as possible. I know hammer's kind of your go-to, but if you can get a bow, that gives you ways to deal with enemies, things like Mini Moldorm Cave a little bit easier. Because otherwise you're kind of stuck using bombs, which seem to be somewhat limited in the seed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with the infinite weapon being my first concern, but I'll be real. I feel like one of the things that I kind of hope for, and I sometimes underrated, is safety in this mode. Maddie, are we gonna buy bombs? No? Okay. Nobody's buying bombs?
It looks like he's having a bit of a double take there. Might have heard you.
Maybe, I don't know. My voice does travel back in time, I've heard.
That's a pretty good talent to have there.
Right?
But yeah, no, I think that's good that he did decide to go pick him up, because not having him would really limit him on what he's able to do when you start running down South Shore.
Yeah, it looks like Tabby's at least going to check out Eastern area at this rate. Like, I can't imagine she's doing this to not head and visit Saha. Although, I don't know. Would you go into Eastern here? Crystal Eastern?
Personally, I wouldn't. It's definitely a big gamble. One other thing you got to wonder, like, is Tabby going to be playing at all knowing they have a game to give? Are you going to go for any kind of home run here? Like, go into Eastern, which is a play that might be less likely for Maddie to do. You find something early, you know, who knows? That could kind of give you a huge advantage real early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, and Tabby does save and quit out of Saha. I will say, having raced... I don't know a ton of Maddie's own style. I've raced some of the farm friends before, a little bit more familiar with some of them. I personally would say that I feel like the farm friends are a little more, I don't know, home run hitters might be a way to put it. I've definitely seen that kind of play style at times from them. So...
Yeah, I think again when you're still up a game, like, it gives you more freedom to kind of follow your gut.
Yeah, and in this case, Maddie finds the best worst item in the game in this mode. Boots are great until you realize we have no swords, and dashing is terrifying.
Yeah, you got to be real on the ball with looking out for what's ahead of you, because you're not just gonna fly through it.
And Mini Moldorm Cave giving us our gloves, so opens up a few extra checks. But yes, a win tonight by Maddie does mean we would see a Game 5 retrance between the remaining members of both teams. That would be Windfox and Scruff Ninja Tuna for Farm Friends, with CJ and Garrison for Chad. So I personally want to see a Game 5 because co-op retrance is probably the best mode in all of League, but, you know, I'm sure everybody's got some differing opinions on that.
I wonder here if Maddie's gonna take the plunge into Eastern with fewer checks remaining. Nope. Guess not.
Maybe hoping to get a little bit more money, see if maybe he can get Zora money. You know, set up for the water walk here after Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, 443 is kind of frustratingly close. to being able to.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get the glove.
Yeah, he'll get the glove. He could just farm it in 20 rupee cave, so that's not too bad.
It's just not fun.
Yeah. It's what, 3 trips, and then when you're done, you're going to end up with nothing. I think that's the worst part, is when you end up with no.
Oh.
That is a very unfortunate death. I've had that happen to me trying to do this with bombs more times than I like to admit. The Moldorms can be so frustrating with just like, you place a bomb and they just beeline away from it. It's almost like they're programmed to do it.
Yeah. And the number of times I think we've all had a moment where the you get frame rolled by the explosion isn't fun either.
Yeah. Maddie getting a nice, much-needed heart drop from these Moldorms.
And Tabby's going to give us the back of escape.
Got a map, Moon Pearl, and some money. So Maddie's definitely going to have to go back there soon. I imagine after he finishes this route, he'll be there.
Well, now I'm curious
Did
about
Tabby go over to Ice Rod Cave, or did she skip it?
She did not. She went mini Moldorm left to Agena.
That's what I thought I saw, which is a very different route than I've seen.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it does kind of leave her out of the Ice Rod Cave thought. But maybe this Houlihan to Ice Rod Cave?
Maybe. She might have just been putting it off to, you know, make sure you get that Zora money and you don't have to abandon it. It's a good thought.
Yeah.
And, you know, Maddie has the option to do the liftable rock thing, but he's going to be leaving with no money. Whereas Tabby's going to have a good bankroll even after paying off the scamfish.
Looks like Maddie's doing none of that either way. Unfortunately, the enemies are not playing nice tonight.
They really aren't. Even Tabby's having to dodge these crabs.
She's in a
She's in that Oko against any crabs, so that's never never fun trying to do this with no weapons and no stun items or anything.
I saw that moment of like, go for the bomb, and then the crab coming in from the right.
Just like, nope, just go for safety.
And
That's a good call. So let's be curious to see what's Maddie gonna do here.
Bonk rocks, and then what? Because he's hit back of escape. You gonna climb the mountain here? I mean, swordless mountain climb, not great either.
Yeah,
and Tabby's setting up for the double water walk.
You're one shot at this.
Yep.
There's actually a setup you can do in swordless. If you go to the screen to the left, you can bonk off the bush, and it'll put you right against the edge. One of the few cool bits of tech that you can do in swordless. Or any seat if you don't have a sword.
Well, Maddie is going to give us the front of escape, so he's going to stay to logic for the moment. But I feel like that's more not his choice and so much
very curious to see
it.
if we get a small key here.
Zora Ledge is nothing.
So there's not a small key in the map chest. I'm pretty sure that means the back of, or the rest of this front of escape is not going to be in logic.
Yeah, Dark Cross is going to be our small key.
Doesn't mean there can't be anything here. It's just not in logic.
I mean, we're just a lamp short of it. That's nothing.
Or a fire rod.
Yeah. I gotta say, real heads up from Tabby there, because could have easily had had that fill up happen and then maybe lose the extra water walk state.
Yeah.
Knowing she was on 3 pieces already and skipping the waterfall. I think that means Eastern has to have something, right?
Sure's looking that way. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything left. Yeah, so that early Eastern dip could have been a really good option.
But I don't blame anybody for not taking it.
I don't either. It's a
Crystal Eastern with 1 bow.
Yeah, no, you never want to.
Welcome to the worst item possible to be there.
And then Tabby's just not going to bother and just sequence break up the mountain instead.
And honestly, I like the play.
I don't hate it.
Set up your safe quit.
Without a mirror and hammer or a hook shot, there's not a lot of chances to get here. But yeah, when you get that safe quit, that does take out a lot of the risk.
Just you always have to ask yourself, how comfortable are you with dark old man rescue? And there's that lamp.
So this puts this mountain play in logic.
Or a bottle.
Or a bottle. One other item we can get in logic. What do we have inside here? A book. That actually gives us more to do.
A lot worse to do, too.
Mm-hmm. Yet another dungeon we can't complete.
No, we can beat it.
With what fire? Oh, we do have a... Well, for Tabby, we don't have the fire, but we have the book.
I'm saying you and I know how to beat it.
Well, that's fair.
I don't want to. I mean, I don't know about you, Kazden, but how practiced are you with a bomb burner landmo?
I mean, can't say I've fired that up in the prac hack pretty much ever, and I've seen 1 or 2 seeds where it ends up being required. It very much, I believe, with that bottle, it is in logic.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think in the last 3 years, I have not seen it required, but I do remember before I started, there was a seed where it was required.
Yeah, I can only think of one, and I think it was a cross-key seed that required a bomb burn a...
Oh, there's a hammer. Never mind.
So that makes that whole conversation moot, but it is interesting to think that it could be a thing.
Well, the unfortunate part here is that Tabby's not going to be able to beat this dungeon unless Fire Rod shows up.
Yeah. Although with that hammer, she's going to have Dark World access and might not care, which does kind of raise the question of when is she going to get access to fire? And that bee just did not care. So it found enemies to attack, they weren't on the screen or in the same room, and it just peaced out.
And Maddie's getting the rupees in Eastern, so gotta wonder if he's... Yeah, is this thinking for Zora, or is he gonna go up the mountain now?
Starting at Sank looks like it's mountain. I think the money was more just kind of just in case if he does have to go back, now he's ready for it. Which I think is heads up. I do think it's right to go up the mountain first. You kind of have to live with that death and just be like, this is what it is, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, like all these extra heart pickups I love at this point. Like I just don't see a reason to not.
Yeah. Yeah, with swordless, you tend to just take that much more damage, either because bosses take longer, your normal strats don't work, or cabbages keep falling from the sky and chasing you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what Tabby's thoughts are about this mountain, the mountain right now, and what that means for logic. You know, how much does she want to commit to resolving that? Because there's definitely a
That's
thought
always a
of,
question, because you have to ask yourself, is it the lamp or is it a flute? And if you're leaving a flute behind, that's a lot of mobility.
well, and the other piece of that is, where was it supposed to be? Like, we know that her lamp is in the Eastern Palace. Does Front of Escape matter to her right now?
Yeah. I'm sure it's in the back of her mind as to, like, either Front of Escape or Eastern, she has to know has something that
So
was going to
Swamp
resolve
and
this.
Meyer are regular pendants with TR as our 5/6, or sorry, our green.
So Swamp is a pendant, which means we might not be seeing those flippers.
Yeah.
But if there's something needed in Swamp, like that's going to make this seed interesting. It's like, when do you... That's a big gamble to go get those. So, like, you almost have to beeline Swamp at that point, assuming you have access to it.
Now,
You want to see a mirror show up in the seed.
that's bad to think about for sure. The other piece of this is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Tabby does hover. And I'm not sure that Maddie does.
I don't think Maddie does. I'm fairly sure of that. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain he doesn't. Tabby, I'm not sure. See, Windfox is in chat saying she does hover.
And there's that mirror. There's swamp access. We now have logical swamp between the two runners.
We sure do. Just need a hook shot and you can full clear it.
Pass.
So Maddie's going to be able to beat this dungeon and probably get our first crystal of the game.
And Tabby remembering, hey, I've got a book and a hammer. I've got a tablet.
This is going to be a fun race to watch. This would not be a fun one to play, though.
No.
There's a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah. This is one of those races where I'm like, I don't feel good.
Yeah. No, you don't. You're not even half an hour in and you're already feeling pretty bad because, like, what do you do?
I was about to say, what is Tabby up to?
I wasn't sure. You're not going to get very far going that way. Almost makes me wonder if she has Aga on her mind, because the only thing I can think is she's thinking the portals available.
But I can't imagine she's thinking that without fire, so...
Did Tabby scout the ledge?
She did.
She did.
They both did.
They both did. Okay, that's good. Good or bad. Like, you almost want to have not scouted it and just not know and hope it's not needed. That's a flute.
That is a very nice find. And front of escape?
Looks like it.
Okay. Meanwhile, Maddie into Landmolus, going to town with
Nice
the hammer.
clean opening.
Yeah. Not as great for phase 2. Or second wave there.
This is not an easy fight.
No.
The hammer, you know, everybody always talks about the hammer hitbox being so small, and that's part of it. But part of it too is there's that delay.
Yeah.
When you hit the hammer, like when you hit your sword, it starts swinging, and as long as something's in its path, it gets hit. The hammer, you hit the button, and nothing happens for a quarter second or so until it hits the ground, and by then, whatever you're trying to hit's probably already moved on. So it kind of makes the hitbox even smaller in a way.
Oh, another 5-6 is Thieves Town. So we already actually have Logical Pyramid Fairy. Abby definitely having a little bit nicer of a Hyrule Castle, having an actual weapon.
Definitely makes it a little bit faster.
Yeah, imagine not having to wait for bombs.
Or waiting for guards to walk into them while they're chasing you.
Exactly.
I wonder if we'll get an attempt at getting to Dark Cross. So it's just going to be the key, and she's going to know that. So no,
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that key there for all time. She has done the back, so.
But not going to continue up to Catfish. I will say that
kind of locks you into checking it after you do North Dark World.
Yeah, that's an I'll call that a rough orphan right now.
Yeah, it's an orphan with an out, but it's an out that takes some time to get to. The good thing is they do have the boots, so it's about as fast to get to it from the north as it ever will be. But still not great. So where are you heading with this flute?
I'm staying here. I'm doing Thieves. I mean, I could make an argument to go up the mountain.
Definitely agree with Sick Kid first. Don't know that we've seen this yet.
No, we have not.
Not much to see, just a couple more bombs.
And yeah, Dapper's right. Tabby should know at this point that her lamp is in Eastern Palace.
Yeah. And being Crystal, she knows she's going to get it. It's just a matter of getting the bow first.
Although we're going to get a ped check. I know it's your favorite location, Kayston.
Oh, I check it every single game.
Yep. You are well known for believing
Every
that it's
single
always
time.
ped.
Yep, just a little piece of love. I just pretend ped doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
I last locate it. If it's there, I'll just whatever.
It looks like, okay, we are getting a little bit of divergence right here in VOO. Tabby's going to check out Skull.
Doing Skull before Thieves Town. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, my thought on this one is I feel like you do this, especially because like you can easily route from VOO up into Skull.
And
Like you've done all the
that's your
south.
way. That's your way to clean up your Catfish Orphan too.
Yeah. So I think I prefer Maddie's decision here. Like clear your Crystal Thieves first before this, but you know, it could pay out.
Good. Oh, that's an unfortunate death. It's not going to cost too much. You just have to do this room again.
Yeah, unfortunately without a sword killing the enemies and doing it quickly before the Gibdos get in the way is not easy.
It really is. Even with the sword, it's not the easiest room in the game.
Yeah, really great MMG strat room. We did get a fire shield out of Thieves Town for Maddie, and like I know it's a shield, who cares? But like swordless blind with a fire shield is a little better.
Oh, I mean, when you're off script doing blind, and you start hearing that shield tink the fireballs, every time that happens, it's like that just saved me a heart.
Yep.
That can easily be the difference between a kill and not a kill, depending how good you are at dodging the bullet hell. And there's just about made the hover.
I will say I find it very. I like the decision. Like, yeah, this is a bomb jump room traditionally, but at the same token, I'd say, you know, if I'm a runner, like, let me see how my hover feels. Like, part of hovering is a rhythm thing, and if you don't have the rhythm tonight, like, oh, my nerves are really rough. Like, you know, maybe Tabby just doesn't have the hover tonight, and needs to be like, okay, I have to do it this way.
Yeah, it's a good way to find out, like, how is it going to feel if this ends up being a hover seed, knowing, you know, Swamp could very easily make it one.
I mean, you definitely, Gaze, you're a hover more so than I am. Like, you know that feeling of just like you're in a race and you're like, let me try to hover, and like it's not happening. And you're like, okay, I cannot hover tonight.
Yeah, the key thing there is like don't over trim your nails the day of or before a race because it makes such a big difference. I know I've heard some people hover just with their fingertips so they never have that problem, but that to me just sounds painful.
And wow, front of skull, terribly nothing.
That's an unfortunately empty skull. And Shield Town is paying out with all the shields.
Yeah. Fighter and mirror, or sorry, fire and mirror shield. Yeah, we're going to bring you all the obscure information tonight, folks. Nice phase one there for Maddie. He's got Berna in reserve. I would say just pull it for phase
into
three.
Phase two, yeah. At this point, you just turn on Berna and take your free win.
And there we go. 2 crystals now on Maddie's side.
Those crystals are starting to add up. Thing is, we still need a lot of progression for the seed.
Oh, that's a fire rod.
That's a big find for Maddie, and unfortunate for Tabby. You don't have mids, Tabby.
I am definitely a bit surprised that Tabby has avoided thieves. Like, I guess I'm like struggling to determine why.
This makes me wonder if it's what it's tracked as on her stream. I'm gonna take a look. Make sure it's tracked as the crystals, so it's not a mistrack thing. But yeah, I'm a little surprised she hasn't gone into thieves yet too.
Like we would, the discussion has been about blind, but like Berna plus hammer, like that's a free fight.
Berna, hammer, 9 hearts. Like, it's not the worst. And realistically, what else are you going to find that's going to improve it from this point, other than maybe half magic? Now, with Skull Woods, like the time spent doing that, Maddie's going to spend the same time. The only difference is he's going to be able to get the items out of the back.
Well, that's the thing, is like, I think for Maddie, he saves and quits after the back.
Yeah, that's true.
Because both items are in the back.
And he is doing middle back first, so we'll definitely save the time here.
And like, Tabby really gets a nice find with that Bombos medallion. But part of me looks at that and goes, Maddie doing Pyramid Fairy soon could lead him to Quakefish anyway. Because Quakefish is also Zorachex. Maddie, you have a mirror.
But how are you going to get your leg workout in?
Always skip leg day, folks. And Tabby into Hera with no fire still. Like, this isn't even just a doesn't have fire rod. This is still lampless.
Yeah, no fire at all. Well, we have bombs, but that's not going to light torches. At least with Hera, we can hope that there's just nothing in the basement.
Moth cooperating a little bit right now for Maddie. Not perfect positioning, but a lot better.
Anytime
although back to the top.
Yeah, anytime you're able to get hits from the side is much better. That's a very clean fight.
Yeah, Moth really playing nicely there, staying to the right side, and we get
First
Ether.
item is a coin.
No, that's the second item.
Oh yeah, we did get the second. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My brain is apparently still
Which we
off.
might not even need any medallions today.
Kind of hope we don't,
Yeah.
but we know where all three are, so.
I mean, Gray, we're all kind of hoping that Bo is in Swamp.
Just to watch the world burn.
Just to watch the world burn. Oh, one item in Skull was the front? My bad. I thought they were both in the back.
I think it's a case of the last item being in this big chest that Tabby wasn't able to get to. And Maddie just walks up and does the bomb jump like no one's business. Almost like he had a sword.
I mean, our runners technically have found 3 of them.
Yeah, and there's their second item, was in Pot Prison.
And it looks like Maddie is going to give us Graveyard and King.
It looks like there was an item in the basement, too.
But Tabby does get on the board for her first crystal as well. So 3-1 on the crystal counts in favor of Maddie right now. But I'd say the bigger issue here is that Maddie having all the fire and Tabby having none.
I'm going to guess here Maddie's probably going to end this at Catfish and then go turn in Big Bomb. So he's likely to get his flute pretty quickly.
I don't know. I think I do Big Bomb to Catfish instead of Catfish to Save and Quit.
Either works. You're already at
that's...
Kingstone. I don't know how much difference that makes.
But that's also me preferring that, probably because I am, while able to do current jump,
that route. I know you like that route.
There's definitely a preference there to hitting it in that direction. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how much time difference there is. And Maddie just going straight up the mountain.
Which is understandable.
Reasonable. Yeah, it's a reasonable
hit another crystal dungeon. Why not?
And find out what's in the basement too. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see how thorough Maddie plays on that one. He's been thorough up to this point.
I think he just tends to be a thorough runner. I don't imagine he would skip it.
Oh, and we had the bow in Paradox Cave.
That's a good find. That's going to at least get Tabby some fire here and not some amount of time.
Well, and here's the scary part now.
If she does pod first, she's not going to be happy.
Hopefully her memory is serving correct here, or that she's recognizing the logic here.
Yeah.
But here's the scary part for Maddie. Tabby is Mit's go. Besides Fire Rod.
Yeah. Yeah, Fire Rod's pretty free, so.
If that hookshot does not show up in the route, is somewhere terrible, Maddie is gonna be in a rough spot.
Yeah. All the crystal lead in the world is going to be hard to make up if you can hover the seed.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm looking at this is Mire, TR, or Swamp having a hook, or any combination of those is, like, I don't want to say it's game, but it's practically,
bad.
yeah.
So you also got to wonder how Tabby's feeling with the hover, though, after being in Skull Woods and not managing to hover to the chest.
True.
Like, are you still confident that you'll be able to get a hover twice the distance that you weren't able to do earlier? That's going to be 100% required if you take that go mode.
So now here's some of the differences for this seed at this point. Tabby, of course, is going to be able to single dip Eastern, but had to double dip Desert Palace.
Okay there?
Yeah, I'm great. Maddie double dipping Eastern, but got to single dip Desert, and we'll see if he is able to is going to full clear Hera here.
Imagine he will, and this is probably worst case scenario for Tabby is if this is something, anything really. Because when would Tabby get back?
You know, I just thought about it. We do have to clear ice. How do you feel about swordless Hamry or Ice Palace Bomb Jump?
I hover it. So I don't think about it. I don't like it.
I mean, even a Samaria here could be big. Like, that could be actually one of the biggest finds, because realistically...
Just put Samaria and Swamp and then GT Big Key and Compass Room.
Oh, God. Kaysen.
Let's watch the world burn.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of hoping that Ag is required at this point. Kaysen and I are horrible people. We know it. I mean, I'm kind of looking for the idea that we do have a hookshot and pod kind of deal, and that mitts are in Swamp. Like, let's go for it. Let's need Swamp Palace. I guess the question is, Kaysen, how tempted are you to go do Aga after Pod?
Doing ice first.
I was saying if you don't find mitts.
I mean, at that point, I think you kind of have to. What else is even left after Pod?
Spike Cave? For Tabby, Hera Basement?
Like, it's really starting to look like Swamp is just going to be required. Likely hookless at this point.
I mean, mitts are always in Swamp Palace, right?
It just feels like it.
There's that bow silvers for Maddie as Tabby gets her second crystal.
Did we get a scout of Bumper Ledge? I can't recall.
Yes.
I think we did. I feel like we did.
It was just money.
Yeah.
Never mind, there's the mitts. Cool, wait, wow. So here's the situation, folks. We are on a timer for Maddie. Plain and simple. Well, I say that, but Kazan did bring up the fact that Samaria could be required.
Yeah, I'll feel
For
a
GT.
lot. I'll feel a lot better about GT when I see if Ice Palace is locked by Samaria or not.
And meanwhile, welcome to our raiders from SpeedGaming. Welcome to this Link to the Past Randomizer Open League playoff race. And as I'm aware, you guys just finished seeing a Invitational League race. In terms of key logic and item logic for Ice Palace, we'll try to go through it, but it is a pain in the butt. Let's just put it that way.
The biggest part of the logic that's going to matter is if there's a small key on Biddy, it's Samaria locked, and that means Samaria will not be in GT. And I personally feel like I've seen when it's Samaria locked, there's more of a chance that your Samaria could be required for GT. It's not a sure thing by any means, but if it's not Samaria locked, I feel like the game is just more expecting you to not have it, so it'll put the key where it's accessible. Cold stare, yes, cold stare. I do. I do mean cold stare. I don't know why I have this tendency to call cold stare Viddy all the time.
I mean, they're both eye monsters in a sense.
Yeah, they're just eyeballs.
Yeah. But he just has a lot more.
Dapper, I've already made more than one mistake. It's okay. I'm past that limit. Oh, we got a mushroom.
I'll say I'm kind of surprised Maddie not going for Helma immediately here. For Tabby, I understand she's still looking for Fire Rod. For Maddie, like going for that potential hook shot on Helma. And who knows, maybe Tabby's looking for multiple items as well.
They gotta still be looking for Samaria, at least passively.
Yeah.
And it's only 5 items in GT, but also it's 5 items. That could be a big key.
I mean, how many times have we seen it? Like, right side GT having the big key. Not uncommon at all.
Nope. Fire Rod is just sitting in Sea House, I believe.
Yep. Tabby just hasn't touched VOO yet.
I'd be very curious to ask her later what the thought process was behind putting off VOO for so long.
Yeah, especially because Thieves is not a dungeon that gets faster.
It gets faster with boots, which we have, so. Winfox just saying she hates VOO, which is totally fair.
Gotta wonder, will we see Tabby go straight to Ice Palace instead then, in her continued desire to not touch Village of Outcasts?
If you're Maddie, do you do Pyramid Fairy before you hit ice? So if you find Samaria, ice gets so much faster.
Yeah, I'd be hard tempted to at least check that.
I probably would have done Pyramid Fairy into pod even. Although at that point I probably was hoping for mitts, which wasn't a thing.
Another heart container there. I mean, the fact that we still haven't gotten blue mail, I will take all the heart containers I can get in this mode.
And we got a selection of bombas. This looks like this is the ice play.
Yep.
Without a fire rod that is freely available.
And that's the scary part, is like...
That's going to be a scary fight.
Yeah, she's making Cold Stare that much harder. Like, wow.
This is a reasonable play. Like, how often is it just fire-locked fire?
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit of a meme that, you know, one of them locks the other more often than not.
But this is going to be crystal number 5 for Maddie here. Still has to go take care of Armos. But, like, we're able to get 7 crystals.
At what point do you, if you're Maddie, at what point do you go up to GT hoping to find hookshot there?
I mean, after, of course, knowing whether or not hookshot or Ice Palace is hookshot locked. Which we are going to pay attention to.
Here's the other thing to consider, is that if you don't have King of Samaria, and you're going to GT, and you're looking for hookshot, it's probably not going to happen.
In Kaysden,
mm-hmm.
This dungeon's partially hookshot locked already. We have a big key in Pengator.
We get both small keys, I think it's still okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess if we get Freezor between the next 3 checks.
The possibility is definitely there.
Yeah. And yeah, Flippy will bring up the bomb strat in Pengator room. As somebody who learned that in the last 6 months, highly recommend.
Yeah, it's a really good strat. Pays off huge dividends in Swordless especially.
Yep.
Especially when you don't have a hook shot as your backup.
And Tabby having to be really careful here. She had a rough go of that Pengator room. And
she's got one shot at this.
Yeah, she's got the potion. I would say burn the potion, Tabby, please. But
well, we got it first try. Can't argue with the results. But this is scary going through here on 2 hearts. And coming up to another room where bomb strats are great.
Okay, Maddie going with the save and quit. Obviously, no flute. Where to, Maddie?
So we are going to be finding out here fairly shortly if this is indeed hookshot locked.
This is Pyramid Fairy. Maybe? No. This is ice.
I don't hate it.
And did Tabby forget she has the big key?
I'm not sure. Because she didn't bomb the floor. I don't know if she was thinking she had hook shot or is just planning to loop back around anyway.
And I see both of her teammates saying, yeah, she forgot.
Okay. He is taking the long way around.
I mean, I don't like that bomb jump on the right side, so I get it.
Yeah. Good use of the powder there. Gonna have to pull the tongue.
Nice French vanilla armor upgrade.
Yeah, with Icebreaker, it seems like forgetting to pull the tongue there is very much a common thing to do. I know I've done it. When Icebreaker was first a thing, I would pull the tongue for no reason all the time.
Yeah.
Finally break that habit, and it's like, oh yeah, now I have to pull it again.
So far, nothing really out of Ice Palace.
Nothing at all, yeah.
We did have one small key in the iced tea room.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is our second small key here in the big chest to make this a locked by Hookshot or Samaria, or is this completely locked? This is completely locked by Hook and Samaria. Or Samaria, sorry.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Actually, no, this
is cane locked for sure. Actually, you're right.
Yeah. This sea just keeps getting more interesting.
Yeah.
Does Maddie have a potion? Well, we do have powder, so I guess it's not a massive.
I think he's got a
concern
fairy.
yet.
And he's got that red goo now. I think
that's
Tabby's got a fairy.
Very unfortunate death. Okay, we do have a very good.
Yeah.
That would explain why she wasn't using the potion. No need to burn it until you have to.
And she's really taking advantage of that top wall. To anybody who's not aware of this, if you stand along the top here, icicles will not break apart.
They won't break apart, but if you are standing perfectly still, they can still fall directly on your head.
Yes.
which you don't have to move much, but just a tiny little bit just to make sure it doesn't fall on you and you're good. So the timer you were mentioning for Maddie is really going to start kicking in now.
Yeah.
Although we're going to take care of desert first.
That's the thing, though. Like, Maddie's got his, you know, is going to have his 7th crystal here. But
what do you do if you're Maddie at this point?
I don't know. Like,
I feel like the first thing you have to do is go to bed. Never mind. That's also one of the first things you have to do.
I mean, if he does Pyramid Fairy, he gets the flute. And if I get flute, I'm at least checking Mire Shed and Checkerboard, probably.
Yeah.
And there's the hook shot. Oh, wow. Maddie needs the flute.
Yeah, that timer is 100% set now, because after desert, does Maddie have a fairy too?
I think he has a fairy as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, because after desert, Tabby's going to go to VOO finally, and that's going to be go mode.
Our flute is on Pyramid Ledge.
Well, that's why there's a timer for Maddie.
Yeah, no, but there was a question in chat about where it is.
Yeah, so, and I almost think it's more of a timer for Happy at this point too, because what does, unless Maddie decides to go for Smith Chain instead of Pyramid Fairy, like that's what would keep him away from the pyramid, which he needs to get to.
Yeah.
Another clean fight. They both used their fairies, but got the job done. And in Swordless against Cold Stare, that's oftentimes all that matters.
Yeah, did I survive? It was successful.
Yep.
That was the thought, and this looks like it's going to be Pyramid Fairy.
Yep. If this is Pyramid Fairy, I feel like Maddie does have an edge, assuming...
Which?
Yep, this is going to be the mushroom. It's going to be a feels bad when he finds the flute later.
I mean, this isn't terrible. Like, Maddie
No.
probably wants to get a potion.
Yeah, this is a very reasonable play. And the question is Tabby going to get her Fire Rod first or do Thieves' Tail first?
Easttown first. And there's the save and quit from Maddie. Oh, man. Is he going to do Smith Chain to Pyramid? Link's House start again.
It's a good sign for Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like this is the play, so this is going to be a race at this point.
Yeah.
Between when Maddie gets this flute, what does he do with it?
And I mean, if you think...
Worst thing he could do with it is go to DDM, but I can't imagine that being on the table with.
I feel
all
like
the
Meyer
super
Shed
run
and Checkerboard are just such quicker checks. Like, if what he's doing is what we think of looking for Hook and Kane, or Kane, like, kind of deal.
You
Like,
got to start with that, I would
yeah.
think.
Flips are on Lumberjack Ledge. We've seen them the whole seed.
The Swordless God Pixel.
Yeah, really nice.
That requires a special level of RNG to happen. You look, a flute.
Catfish next.
Yep, this makes sense.
Yep.
All these checks are giving needed time for Tabby to get the dungeon count equaled up. And we could have a pretty tight race going into GT here.
Yeah.
Just all depends on the order Maddie does things.
And none surprisingly, here's Zora because he didn't get up to here earlier.
Yep.
Maddie, you don't have flippers.
It's okay, the game will remind him.
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, if Maddie Beeline's activating the flute and getting his last two items that he needs, that feels like it's going to time out about with when Tabby is going to finish up Moth. And we're going to have a very tight race.
Yeah. Question is, does Maddie go straight into the Meyer check? Or does he go for
I think there's a really
Smith?
good chance that he does. I can't imagine doing Smith.
I can't either, but people
Like,
make
even if
weird
you're gonna
decisions in the
use-
moment.
Yeah, you do. But even if you're going to do Smith, it feels like you would just want to do Meyer area first, flute back, and it's the same thing.
But here we go. Oh, Tabby ran right past C-Shape House.
And ran right back to it, fortunately.
And Maddie's fluting.
Just trying to give a heart attack to her teammates.
Yeah, I can't imagine if I'm either of these teams right now.
I can only imagine the thought when she started dashing down there. It's like, wait, no.
But that's good mode for Tabby Cat.
That is indeed go mode. We're heading to 7th Crystal. And Maddie is heading to go mode as well.
All he has to
Maddie
do
is
now
going
is
to have
hit
a bit of a
checkerboard.
lead.
He's got the mirror. And he's heading to checkerboard. This is going to be Maddie having a slight lead entering GT.
Slight lead entering GT. It's probably
And
still
it's
going to be
swordless.
close enough for close enough for GT routing to matter, and also, yeah, swordless execution is going to play into this very heavily at this point.
And it's funny, I see all the numbers now. Like, we didn't talk about numbers at all for Maddie until he got his hook. Like, we just knew Maddie is not going to GT without a hook shot.
Yeah.
I will say, Kaze and I had done a little bit of a race last night with Maddie, and one of the things that did come up was Maddie has terrible luck actually getting bug net in this mode.
Yeah, it seems to be holding too.
Yeah. Maddie had indicated he does not usually find bug net in Swordless, and tonight, no bug net.
Tabby's gonna have to be a little careful here. I don't know what her fairy situation is.
I don't think there's a fairy, but she gets it done.
Doesn't matter.
And that is 7 crystals for Tabby Cat.
And it looks like she's going to be exactly a flute and mountain climb behind. Or a mirror flute and mountain climb behind.
And yep, Maddie in at 116.35.
First 2 checks are nothing, and Maddie wasting no time going to right side.
I like this route. I know you're a fan of this route, Kazdin. You get that small key and hope. Screw it. I'm going to Compass Room.
Yep, that's what I do every time. Compass room coming up empty.
Yes, it is, and we're at least gonna grab that key. Nice stun prize.
We have a big key.
And we are beginning to climb. What was that number?
11, I think? Or 12?
Was that in Fire Snake or Firebar?
Firebar, yeah.
12, yeah.
Yeah.
12.
It'd be 12.
In terms of our
Number
GT Vicky
12.
guessing game, Kirby Fan was our first person to guess it correctly. We also had Mistwitch or Mistwitch. So congratulations to both of them. Maddie really relying on his fire rod for this part of the climb.
Yeah, you just have to make sure to check magic before going up to the torches. Do have a blue goo.
I think he's
Don't
got
have
two
a blue goo
blues.
anymore.
I think he's got a second blue.
He's got a second, okay.
Yeah. So Matty did, of course, force off his the land mode 2 RNG to be in his favor. You know, I never thought to dash low there.
I can't say I have either. Might have to steal that.
Yeah. I mean, we raised swordless so much.
I mean, it still comes up occasionally. Cross keys.
Right.
Probably the most common time it would be useful for us. Oh. That was almost a very unfortunate fire rod shot. The question of the hour is this bug net going to show up?
It doesn't matter because Maddie's
We're
not even
going to
looking.
look for it. We're just going to go.
I mean, I gotta think I would have checked.
I know I would have. I know how my hammer agate 2 is. It's not pretty.
Yeah, no. Not a fun fight. To anybody who's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters. It's a bad fight.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people who can do the fight just fine with hammer. If you can do it, great. I guess you don't need it. But if you
I can do it eventually.
Yeah, if you need it to do it quicker, then I think it's worth a couple checks.
Yeah, I mean, the bug net was clearly behind Crocomire. We were gonna
Don't even get the chest open. Walk in front of it for half a second and just bail.
I might have words, Maddie.
I think he was honestly trying to open it and just getting the boots thing happening and just decided, you know what, this is not worth it. Let's go. And that's 1 of 6. That's 2.
Yeah, this is the unfortunate part, is that hammer really makes it hard to get multiple. You know, you were talking about the delay of the hit itself. Nice angle there. Nice double
Very
to finish.
nice double. It's about as clean as you can hope for.
Yeah, getting multiple hits during the Aga 2 fight with a hammer is just not reasonable. And here we go, Ganon, fight for Maddie. There are some positions that you can really work with in this fight. to get low cycles. Unfortunately, Ganon not giving them to us.
Not this time. So we got a red and a blue potion. That's good. Makes the fight pretty safe.
But this is the position we want, folks.
Yep.
And Maddie's got the pixel.
Just stand there and smash.
Yeah, if you can get Ganon up in this position or on the right side, in the same kind of position, you can get a 1 cycle for phase 2. So there are people who actually delay getting Ganon into phase 2 until he's in a good position like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble you can take to potentially.
Yeah, you could waste a lot of time.
Save a few cycles. Yeah, if you keep letting him teleport, just waiting for that, it can definitely bite you. And there's 1 of 4.
Nice on the torch glitch.
Where's the pig? There he is. That's 2.
There's our 3rd. And here we go, number 4 for Maddie. And that is going to end this fight. And it looks like end of this race. Get your GGs in chat for Norsk Maddie. Maddie finishing first with a 127.14. Tabby did, looks like, forfeit not soon after that. She also says she will be unable to join us for an interview tonight. Apparently, mid-race, she had just the worst cough acting up. And I am completely sympathetic to that right now. So, understandable. But get your GGs in chat for both of our runners, as Maddie has forced a Game 5 between Farm Friends and Chad.
And we are joined by Maddie now. GG.
Hey, GG, thank you.
So, how much were you sweating before you found that hook shot in that Samari?
Oh, a lot. I was sweating a lot because I think I heard somewhere that Tabby can hover. Might have been one of the other races that she did. So
yeah, Winfox was telling us that she can hover too. So
yeah,
we were wondering, it's kind of a bit of a timer going between the two of you. It's like, are they going to show up or not, and when?
Right. So I, was thinking, well, I'm just going to keep looking for this hook shot, and I knew from the Ice Palace key logic, at least I thought I knew, that it wasn't going to be in GT. There aren't very many places it could be in GT, especially since I also didn't have the cane at the time. So I wasn't going to go there. Not comfortable enough with hovering or Moldarn bounce to go in there. So it was basically like, I've got to find that hook shot, and I hope it's not like in Swamp Palace, because that's going to take forever.
Yeah, there were some definite rude scenarios on this seed, giving that flipper location and everything else that could have been.
Yeah, we're wondering how much that had to be on your mind throughout the scene. It's like, are you going to go have to commit time to Aga just to go into Swamp when he had access otherwise fairly early?
That was definitely on my mind. It's like, I have everything but the flippers to go into this Swamp Palace.
And you know where they are.
And I know where they are, and I know I could beat, Aga Tower, because Lamp was early as well, so that made it all in logic and everything. So, yeah, I was definitely thinking about it, but it was probably always going to be like, that's the last thing I'd do, I think.
Yeah, pretty much gonna have to last locate that.
Yeah. I was actually, when I was climbing GT, I was thinking, I was watching the race room and thinking like, well, I don't know if Tabby would have gotten this cane, because it was also basically in the same spot that the hookshot was. So my hope was that the GT Piggy was locked behind it in the compass room or something, but that was not to be.
Yeah, Tabby had the flute a lot earlier. She had hard avoided Village of Outcasts for a lot longer.
Okay.
So instead she got the flute pretty early. So she had surprisingly checked the Mire area before VOO even.
Okay. So she already had like the cane and the hookshot and everything.
Yeah, unfortunately did not have it for ice.
Okay.
Yeah, she found it right after ice, which that's got to be a little bit tilting.
Yeah.
When you have you didn't have the flute, so you didn't have as much of the option to kind of makes sense to go to ice, but like it makes sense to go to ice either way. It's a full clearable crystal, right?
Right.
But
and it was
to know you could have just done this check that takes 30 seconds and saved another, minute in Ice Palace.
Right. So
it's got to be a little frustrating.
So then what was Tabby's go mode?
Fire Rod.
Oh.
In
Okay.
Sea House. She just hard avoided VOO for pretty much the entire seed.
All right. Yeah, I had that really early.
Yeah, you each had a double dip of a dungeon in there. Tabby double dipped Desert. She went in without the lamp out of Eastern. You got your Eastern lamp pretty early. Tabby waited and instead was able to single dip Eastern. But,
yeah, that's nice.
I mean, it wasn't too big of a difference because you were able to clean up Eastern with the pod play double. So, 6 of one, half a dozen the other, really.
Yeah, that was helpful. I mean, I was in hookshot mode because I found the bow and I went to pod, and that was when I realized, like, I'm in pod and I got the mitts, and then I realized, oh, that's go mode. Other than, if I can hover, that's go mode. That's not, my go mode, but it could be her go mode. And so then it was like, great, panic time. And I didn't even do the right side of Ice Palace because I thought, like, I guess it's possible that the hookshot could be over there, but it was going to be slow, and that was just something to skip.
Yeah, that's a big time save, skipping out on the right side. Like that's a scary play to make, but
yeah,
it's a big time save.
Probably something I don't think I've ever done in a seed race like this would be to skip the right side of Ice Palace. And there was an item there, so it could have just been devastating.
Yeah,
but
sure.
That was one of those things where I feel like I have to do something because I might be super behind already. So, it's risk time. But GG's to Tabby. I know it's she's a really good runner, and so this was I think it was close. She said she was on Ega 2 when she was when I finished, so it was close.
Yeah, we unfortunately lost video when she was in Super Money, but given the time difference, probably was going to be about a minute to a minute and a half entering GT.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, should have been pretty close.
Yeah, it definitely was a close race, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, hey, now everyone gets a game 5.
Greatest show in Rando League, the game 5 for everything.
Yeah. That's it's just an invitational spot. Got to do co-op retrons to get it. That's it. And I get to watch.
You did your part.
Yeah.
You did
you
your
forced
part.
game 5.
Yeah, I went 1-1. That's in the other 2 games. But yeah, that should be fun. I think it's anyone's game. It's 4 really good runners are going to be playing in that game, so
Yeah. Do you have any idea when the game might be yet?
I don't have any idea.
Or if it is, I guess you may have not even been paying attention since you don't have to play. So
yeah, I would pay attention, but
yeah. Well, let them hash it out, figure it out, and then you can just
Yep.
watch it whenever they get that done.
Yeah, it'll have to be whenever everyone is available. So
Yep.
I wish I knew now, but nope.
Yeah, and WinFox confirming nothing on schedule, no real planning at all has happened yet. So
Yeah, they were all. I guess they were all convinced I was going to lose, so they weren't worried about it.
nobody wants to think ahead. I understand completely.
That's right. Yeah, that's a problem for future us. So
Yes.
we don't need to worry about it until we need to worry about it.
But yeah, I guess anything else on your end, Maddie?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, GG's to Tabby. Thanks for the restream. Thanks for your commentary, WinFox tracking, all that. It's always appreciated. Everyone volunteering for these roles so we can watch these games.
Hey, saw some friends racing tonight. Said, let's get a crew in there, and Kazan and I were like, yeah, let's do this.
We're going to be watching and talking about the race anyway. Might as well do it
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure to follow both of our runners, Tabby Cat and Norsk Maddie, for putting on such a great show tonight. In terms of races still to happen, tomorrow, 1:10 p.m., we've got OK Dudes versus Divine Beastie Boys, Telethar and Ramon racing over on SpeedGaming. OK Dudes are up 2-0 in that series, so definitely give that one a watch. That is a Pseudo Boots Cross Keys, by the way. And Open League racing, actually happening right now on SpeedGaming, is a Game 3 between Acai and Amish Paradise, Dixon versus Danny Music. So that's going to be, I think that's the third game in that series. And that series is tied at 1 right now. So leverage in the series coming down to the Cross Keys matchup there. And then tomorrow at 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Acai and Amish Paradise Game 4, another swordless race, this time between Tony T. Young and Zero Nix. So, and I do see another Game 5 on the schedule for Saturday. So, lots of racing still to happen. Going to be a little less frequent as we near the end of the Open and Invitational League seasons, but be sure not to miss these amazing games. Kazan, you got anything else tonight?
Just say GG to both runners again. Look forward to seeing Game 5. But yeah, other than that, I think you covered it.
Yep, and thanks again to WinFox covering all the tracking duties. But with that, we are going to do it. That's going to do it for tonight. Once again, I highly recommend heading over to SpeedGaming for the Pseudo Boots Cross Keys race between Acai and Amish. But if nothing else, have a great rest of your Wednesday night, and we'll see you all next time.